Ladies and gents, welcome to a mystery car park in the formerly Great Britain. It's time for an alternative paper review. First up to the Daily Express this morning. Has the PM opened door to an amazing Boris comeback? I don't think I've ever read a headline where the editor is kind of ejaculating in print before, but this is...
Oh my God! Have you heard? Don't shout it. Don't shout it. Just whisper it. It's a possibility that Rishi Sunak is going to bring back Boris. Oh my God!
I don't know if it's obvious to you, but I am propelling tadpoles into the threads of my boxers. Do I actually think Rishi Sunak will bring back Boris Johnson? Honestly, I don't know. On the one hand, Rishi Sunak is one of two key components that were necessary to oust Boris Johnson. Remember, it was Rishi Sunak and Sajid Javid who resigned, and that started that whole ball rolling. So the idea that Boris Johnson would return to frontline politics in a subservient role to the guy that ousted him, that to me seems a little bit far-fetched. However, you have to remember that his sort of humbleness, his subservient kind of humiliation sensibility, that is probably less powerful to him than his ambition and his ego and his desire to be centre of attention and indeed to return to frontline politics. You might also ask yourself, what's in it for Rishi Sunak? Like, why would he bring back this guy who destabilised the Conservative Party so much? And the answer to that part is actually quite simple, because there is a general election coming up and Boris Johnson is seen as an electoral asset. Even though, to my mind, I mean, that whole thing is ridiculous. Like, do you think he's an electoral asset, Boris Johnson? Oh, absolutely. Like, you hear that a lot, right? It is Boris Johnson who hemorrhaged their poll lead. They went from an 80-seat majority to a 10-point loss, 12-point loss. Now they're like 20 points down. They have been for about 2 years. So, I don't know. I think anyone who thinks that Boris Johnson is going to turn the tide on the polls this close to a GE that I still think will be in the spring, I think, I don't know, they're kidding themselves a bit. But then they are the party of aspiration, so... Next up to the Times. Putin's spy infiltrated Britain's intelligence. So this is an interesting story because, I don't know if you cast your mind back to the spy, like the body in a bag, spy murder. Do you remember that? The guy who they said zipped himself in the holdall, right? That guy was later rumoured by a sort of ex-Russian oligarch KGB guy who reneged to the UK. He said, no, that guy was murdered by the KGB. He was about to expose one of our spies in GCHQ, and we couldn't let that happen, so we offed him. Anyway, only recently, a sort of re-examination of all of the evidence in that case said, no, he definitely killed himself. Like, he definitely put himself in the holdall. And now it feels like this is the other side going like, no, Putin definitely had a spy, guys. Over to the Daily Mail now. Thank you so much for all your kindness. Oh, fuck off. Meanwhile, at the Telegraph, more PR guff. Prince says thank you to the nation and Tom Cruise. Oh, fuck off her. Also in the Tory graph, migration won't save the UK from its debt crisis. Oh, okay. All right. So we are acknowledging that we have a debt crisis. Okay, cool. So debt has soared above 100% of GDP. It's unsustainable. We need more money to earn money, which will then be taxed, which can then go into the coffers and hopefully begin to settle this debt. That might allow us to fix the NHS. It might allow us to invest in law enforcement, the judiciary, social care. But we don't want immigrants to help us out with that. Okay, cool. So what's your solution? Daily Telegraph, are we going to invest in childcare? Are we going to free people up so they can go out and plug the skills shortage gap and service the ageing population? What's your solution? Well, we're spending too much on our bloody benefits. We gotta cut the benefits, guys. Right, okay, good. Okay. Again with the austerity. Of course, the problem with austerity is that it becomes a cog in the machine of the problem that you're trying to solve. And what I mean by that is you start putting cuts into schools and hospitals and police forces. Those people earn less. Also, they're being taxed less. Less money goes into the coffers, people don't go out so much, the economy does worse. Restaurants, bars, travel agents, coffee shops, all of them do worse and they start laying people off. Those people then go on to benefits, the benefit bill increases. Then a few years down the line, you get some bow-tied bellend at the OBR going like, oh, I can't believe that our benefits bill is so high. We should cut it. And the whole Tory ideological doctrine Ferris wheel starts again. Until, in theory, you get a Labour government in And then they plan to just carry on like the Tories. So it all just continues indefinitely until we die. I'm off for my morning cry.